Today we're doing something a little different. We're stepping away from theory and looking directly into some raw, unsettling, true accounts. We have 3 narratives, first-hand stories submitted to us about terrifying encounters in the dead of night. What connects them is this chilling idea of your safe space, your home being violated, physically breached by people or things that just don't seem to follow the rules we understand. Our goal isn't just to tell scary stories. We want to look at the patterns here, how these intrusions happen, especially when, well, rational explanations just seem to fall apart. These are stories from people whose lives were completely turned upside down when that line between safe inside and dangerous outside was crossed violently. We'll start with Patrick. His story happened when he was incredibly vulnerable physically. He just had a really tough wisdom tooth extraction. This meant he was on this awful sleep schedule, had to wake up every 3 hours, pain meds. So he was constantly exhausted, just profoundly sleep deprived.
And that context is so important. Sleep deprivation, it's not just being tired. It genuinely alters how you perceive things, makes you less vigilant. It can amplify fear responses too. He was already in a state where, that line between what's real and what's not is thin, very thin. Made him vulnerable.
Exactly. And it was during one of those forced wake-ups, maybe 4 a.m., first week of recovery. It was hot, miserable. So he opened his bedroom window, just trying to get some air. And that simple act, that's what let the horror in. He's lying there trying to get comfortable again, and he hears this noise. A strange noise from outside. Not wind, not an animal he recognized. It was a scratching, like claws dragging across wood or something. And the sound moved, got louder. Until he realized it was coming from right above him. On the roof. His first thought, the rational thought, was an animal. Raccoons, maybe? Trying to get into the attic. So, worried about damage, he grabs a heavy-duty flashlight to check it out. He goes outside, shines the beam across the roof. Nothing at first. Sweeps it around. But then, near the front of the house, the roof line is higher there. Uneven. He catches movement. He snaps the light beam onto it. And in that second, everything changes. It wasn't an animal. Standing right there on the peak of his roof, frozen in the light, was a person. Stark naked. Just standing there.
That switch, from thinking pest control problem to naked human predator on my roof, that's a moment of a pure psychological overload. Your brain just short circuits. And the nudity is interesting, isn't it? It strips away identity, makes the figure seem less human, more like some kind of primal destructive force. We see that sometimes in these accounts.
Primal is the right word, because Patrick screamed, and the figure, it reacted instantly. With this absurd speed, it moved like the light itself was physically hurting it, just bolted barefoot across the shingles, towards the back of the house where the roof was lower. Patrick ran too, trying to head it off, yelling for his dad inside the house. He gets to the back just in time to see something. Well, something impossible. The figure is at the edge of the roof. It's a serious drop there, straight down onto concrete pavers. A fall that should break bones, easily. Patrick thought, no way, they can't jump from there. But the figure didn't even hesitate. It just launched itself off the edge, hit the concrete below with a sickening, deafening thump. But it didn't stop. Didn't even seem to slow down. That impact seemed to mean nothing. The intruder just stood right back up, charged straight at Patrick, tackled him, started viciously clawing at his face, his eyes. Patrick said it was like they were trying to rip his face off. He described this unnatural strength, all while grunting, spitting, just pure violence.
The unnatural strength, that's common in high adrenaline trauma accounts. Perception gets skewed. But surviving that specific drop and immediately attacking with such ferocity, it does suggest something beyond typical human limits under stress.
Yeah.
Maybe a disregard for pain or something else. It definitely reinforces that feeling Patrick had, that this wasn't just a normal person, not rational.
Yeah. Thankfully, Patrick's father heard the commotion, ran out, and managed to pull the attacker off him. The figure, now covered in Patrick's blood, scrambled free, scaled their high backyard fence like it was nothing, and just vanished into the dark. Gone. The police came, searched, found absolutely nothing, no trace of the person. Patrick ended up in the hospital, needed treatment, shots for infection risk. But the worst part, later, his dad confirmed it. The police found scrape marks near the attic access on the roof. This thing had actually been trying to dig its way into their attic, like an animal. The lasting impact for Patrick wasn't just the physical stuff, it was the impossibility of it, the strength, the jump, the vanishing act, and the why. Who was it? How did they even find his house? Just terrifying unanswered questions. So if Patrick's story shows us physical impossibility or second case, this one involves a kind of psychological manipulation, a calculated distraction. This person lived in a house with a bit of an unusual layout. There was this covered external hallway leading to the front door. And crucially, his bedroom window looked directly out onto that hallway right at the front door. He actually used it sometimes, to peek out before opening the door.
That design element, it creates a specific vulnerability, a known vantage point. If someone was watching the house, observing routines, they could absolutely use that window, that habit of looking out against the occupant.
Right. So his parents were away. He and his girlfriend Anna had the house to themselves for the week. Quiet. Then, around midnight one night, they hear this noise from the driveway. Loud. A screeching, dragging sound. Sounded like the trash cans being knocked around. He figures, okay, probably raccoons again. Annoying. So he reluctantly goes outside. Flashlight. Yep, one of the big bins is tipped over. Trash spilled. He shines a light around the yard, the street. Sees nothing. Cleans up the mess. Drags the cans into the garage to be safe. Goes back inside. Back to bed.
And this is classic. The loud, obvious disturbance draws the target outside. Checks it out, finds a simple explanation: an animal, feels secure again, it lowers their guard, makes them relax when they go back inside. Perfect setup for the real approach, which is usually much quieter. The noise masks the intent.
Exactly, because he's lying there drifting off again, that half-awake state, and then he hears it. A new sound. Quiet this time. Chilling. A gentle tapping. He described it as metal on glass. And it was coming from right outside his bedroom window, that window looking onto the front door area. He freezes, listens. It's definitely there. Tap, tap, tap. Slowly, carefully, he forces himself to move, to just peek around the edge of the curtain. In the darkness outside, he can just make out a silhouette. Someone is standing right there at his front door, just standing there, tapping lightly on the glass of the door. It's past midnight. No lights are on inside. Why would anyone? As he's watching, heart pounding, the silhouette starts to turn. Towards the window, towards him. He ducks back instantly. Pure reflex. Terror. Doesn't want to be seen. Waits a few seconds. Silence. He has to look again. He summons the courage, edges the curtain back just a tiny bit. What he saw then, he said it made him scream and scramble out of the bed. Pressed right up against the glass, maybe 2 inches away, was a face, staring straight back at him, but it wasn't normal. He described it as a man, but with shriveled-looking skin, like his face was melting. Horrifying detail.
That description. Melting, shriveled. Is it literally what he saw? Or is it how his terrified mind processed the distorted face in the dark, pressed against glass? Ultimately, it doesn't matter to the victim's experience. His brain registered something monstrous, inhuman, right there, inches from his safe space. This isn't a burglary attempt. It feels like something else, a direct personal violation.
He yelled. Anna woke up. They called the police immediately. And just like with Patrick's story, the police arrived, checked everything. No forced entry, no sign of anyone. The person was just gone. But here's the truly chilling part. For him, it wasn't over. He told us that in the night since that happened, the tapping has returned. That quiet metal on glass sound outside the window. It suggests this wasn't a one-off scare. It was maybe the start of something ongoing, a psychological siege. Okay. So, unnatural strength in the first story. Calculated distraction in the second. Our third account tonight. This one pushes into perhaps the most disturbing territory, the sheer impossibility of entry and exit. This involves a single guy, mid-30s, lives alone, small one-story house, pretty modest. He works late from home, often up past 3 a.m. routine, so he's there one night, working at his computer, headphones off, just total silence in the house, dead quiet. The kind of quiet that makes any sudden noise terrifying. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, the silence is shattered. Footsteps, heavy footsteps, pounding down his hallway, coming straight towards his bedroom. Before he can even process that, it's followed by 3 or 4 deafening bangs on his bedroom door. Not knocking. Banging, like police trying to raid a place, full force, violent. The shock hits him physically. He jumps up from his chair so fast he bangs his knee hard on the desk, knocks his monitor over. Adrenaline just floods him. He's frozen, staring at the door, just waiting for it to splinter open for someone to burst in. Pure dread.
That combination, the sudden, frantic running, then the explosive violence against the door, followed by nothing. It's designed for maximum psychological impact. It creates this overwhelming, immediate threat that paralyzes the victim. Maybe makes...
Because nothing came after those terrifying bangs. Total silence again. So quiet he started to wonder, did I imagine that? Could I have imagined something so loud, so violent? And then he heard it again. Footsteps. But this time, walking quickly back, away down the hall. Retreating. That sound broke his paralysis. Survival instinct, maybe. He grabs the first thing he sees, an empty beer bottle, and he just goes charging out of the room after whoever it was, screaming, ready for a fight. Runs through his small house, kitchen, living room, bathroom. Nothing. Nobody there. And this is the core of it. This is what makes this case so deeply unsettling. It was a small house. Very few places to hide. He searched everywhere in seconds. ND. Every single door, every single window was locked, checked, and double-check from the inside, bolted. There was just no physical way for someone to get in, run down his hall, beat on his door like that, and then get back out and vanish in literally seconds. No way.
And this connects back, doesn't it? Patrick's attacker scaling a high fence and vanishing instantly. The face at the window gone without a trace.
Now here, an intruder inside a completely locked house who also vanishes without a trace, leaving no sign of entry or exit. It forces us to ask, what are we actually dealing with in these accounts? Are these human intruders with almost supernatural skills? Or is the perceived event itself somehow different from physical reality? Is it an intrusion on perception itself? It challenges everything.
Yeah. The man said he was a psychological mess for about a week afterwards. Couldn't sleep, couldn't work. His mind just couldn't reconcile it. He knew he heard it, felt the vibrations of the banging. But the locked doors, the impossibility, it just didn't add up, left him questioning his own sanity. So when you look at these three stories together, Patrick's impossible attacker, the face at the window after the distraction, the invisible intruder in the locked house, the thread is clear, isn't it? It's about violent intrusions into places we believe are safe. Committed by figures who defy normal explanation. They move too fast, seem too strong, or simply appear and disappear in ways that shouldn't be possible. All they leave behind is trauma, fear. And these huge unanswerable questions, it makes you think, if these figures, whatever they are, can bypass locks, survive impossible falls, vanish into thin air, if they use distraction and overwhelming violence, what defenses do any of us really have? When the sun goes down, when you're alone in your home thinking you're secure, are you? We hope these accounts, these case studies, have resonated with you, given you something to think about regarding the patterns in these terrifying true encounters. If you find value in exploring true horror, these strange incidents, make sure to like this, share it if you think others should hear it, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs. We bring you more of these stories regularly. Thank you for listening. Stay safe.